getting it right into it right now. Set number 1 on Anskin. It's Anubis versus Front Mission over here, and I believe it is Anubis Empire who is going to be starting up north this time.
Oh, so they got the color coding like we used to.
Yeah, actually change it back.
All right, that's great because it's just gonna
some more clarity for you.
Well,
folks.
exactly, leave less room for confusion out there. So on the yellow side, yes, as Andy just pointed out, we've got Front Mission starting down south. Their opponents, Anubis Empire, as the blue side, starting up north this time around. And well, when it comes to the tanks, it's exactly the same, except that well,
a couple of them different.
Well, you just basically, yeah, just
it's
a couple.
The difference between two IS-3s and an AMX-50 and a T-32.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
so there's a wee bit of a switch up here, I guess, when it comes to, pretty much Front Mission, they decided to go with an extra sniper on the side, but other than that, it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, and early on, actually, Front Mission is they're splitting up their forces. They've kept 3 of their heavier forces back to the left of their starting position, and they sent 2 of their heavy tanks to the western or eastern field. So, kind of interesting strategy here. I think they're just trying to spread out and then just make sure if Anubis decides to push, they're ready for it, and they can have enough angles to defend against that.
Well, right now, Calliope here has spotted Ergonen way up north on his T1, but
wow! But look at this! Look at these setups coming up from both teams. Extremely defensive from extremely early on.
Well, exactly. Still a lot more movement on the observer when it comes to pretty much Front Mission. Here they're actually trying to move out and spread out to the east of the railroad.
Yeah.
And, well, like I mean,
no, they're really splitting up right now. Actually.
Yeah, they are. It's just like I'm liking the way that their heavy tanks actually just try to just go north, but still have backup. Say they're not just be sent out there sitting ducks pretty much. So they're trying to organize some kind of not offense, but I guess like trying to widen their position on the map.
Maybe just for map control.
Well, sort of, and it's actually still pretty smart because even with those like 3 tanks down there.
Actually, maybe what could be happening is since that T1 spotted them, right? They could be saying, "All right, Anubis, push on our base, and our 3 tanks that are waiting for you are going to take you out."
Well, maybe it could be. Yeah. What I'm liking about the split that they just did is that those 3 tanks at the starting position can still withstand the assault long enough for support to come from the northeastern troops. I mean, right now they're retreating, but they could have just kept their position, I think. Because it's pretty much a straight line to come back to that base. So they probably would have taken more damage than anything else, but it would still have given them the option of just attacking up north as well. What I do like is that they actually managed to take out a T1 without suffering any losses whatsoever. So they got both their scouts all the way to the northeast, and that's going to be a permanent threat, pretty much.
Yeah, it's actually definitely a lot of more map control coming up from Front Mission right now. They have, I mean, although they don't have any tanks in the actual city, they know that no tanks were there because they didn't spot any of the members coming down from the northern city. So, I mean, right now they have pretty much. They know what's going on about 75% of the map right now, except that the top northwestern corner of the map, pretty much everywhere else on the map, Front Mission know what's going on.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm kind of surprised I'm not seeing, like, because remember how Efficiency used that tactic twice, like to just really use the railroad as a highway to get the base.
I remember that.
And I was kind of hoping that teams this week around would just at least have more presence towards the railroad to counter such kind of move, because if you're waiting, like for instance right now, as Anubis is doing all the way up northeast, and I believe Anubis was the one to actually lose against Efficiency on that particular occasion. Well, if you're waiting all the way up north, you can send tanks all the way to the limit, the edge of the railroad, and then just flank them from the left. And if, like, I can't remember which other team it was, but another team was kind of squatting like much more south towards the city. But then even if you do progress that railroad unchecked, you still have the option of making a left turn midway and actually still flank them.
And they completely demolished their team with that.
Exactly, like
well.
on both occasions, both teams were taken out. So
I think it was actually a little bit of guesswork as well, because they didn't have vision on the enemy until they pushed into that. It was the top right square housing,
that trapeze, like looking.
It's like a housing complex kind of thing. Yeah, they cut straight through there from the railway, and there were like 3 members of the opposing team like waiting, and they just completely got the Stroud and took him out immediately.
But which is why, like, I would assume that since we saw back-to-back games won in that fashion, at least you'd have an MX-50 maybe posted to the north of the railroad to just prevent enemies from doing what they're doing right now on screen. I mean, look at Calliope here right now. Is just had there been an MX-50 at the other end of this road, he would be dead meat as we speak. And right now, I'm getting the feeling that more and more teams attacking from the south have completely free reign over that railroad, which after all is the most direct route to the enemy base. So
and I feel like, I mean, before we always used to think it was suicidal because, I mean, it's so easy to counter that strategy. All you have to do is have just even one tank at the edge of the railway, and you can completely nullify any push over on that side. But for some reason, teams starting up north, they tend to just go straight for the city and maybe only have a T1 out there.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's just because maybe, okay, if they decide to commit the T1, okay, one of the T1s, if they go for a city push from the north, then obviously it should be sent down to the westernmost part of the city, where there's actually a straight road that leads all the way down to the southern base. And the other one, obviously, you still want some presence on the forest, not to be flanked. But instead of posting that T1 all the way to the northeast, I'd sort of leave him lurking, hiding behind wagons in the railroad area.
Just for the base capture, maybe?
Well, not just for the base capture, but because if somebody creeps all the way to the northeast, he's still going to be spotted by the T1, and he would still nullify that that railway push we've been seeing a couple of times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so far right now it's not working that way anyways, but my point being that you know, all the teams starting down south these days do seem to have free reign to actually just cruise smack in the middle of that railroad, which I found very strange because if you remember well, during the open season, every single time a team attempted that, they got mangled.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm kind of getting the feeling that you know, tactics on ants have become a wee bit too predictable, which is why efficiency last time around was like, hey, you know what? These days,
do something completely unheard of.
Well, exactly. No, I mean, like, no, because he wasn't unheard of like during the open season, but teams were expecting that. There was always a wee bit of presence towards the railroad, just in case, right? But I guess these days, like, teams really can't seem to bother about the railroad because it's been labeled as a suicide mission per se. Which is why I think it worked really well for efficiency last time around because
this other T1 is in trouble.
The element of surprise, but yeah, the T1's gonna be gone.
Yeah, Aragovan gonna get taken now. Help me, please. He has to be a little bit careful though because a lot of the tanks from Anubis are actually have a couple angles on Help Me Please right now. So if they can get a shot through the window, then Help Me Please might take a little bit of damage. But I mean, for this T1, it's a all right trade as long as he doesn't take like.
He actually.
Oh, he actually got damage onto Zelda Duck there instead
no,
of...
I think it's Hades, like,
I see.
like who got it from the side, as a matter of fact.
But yes, that T1 does go down, so a lot of vision is going to get denied from Anubis Empire at this point. Yeah, look at this push. I mean, it's not a push, but this progression up north from front mission. They're really creeping up towards that northern edge because they know exactly where Anubis Empire right now. I mean, they spotted a couple of members, you know, way to the north, some kind of in that square right next to them. So they know they have a pretty good idea of where Anubis right now, and what they're doing right now is they're finding the best way to penetrate that defense.
Well, indeed. Well, so far they've got 2 extra scouts, so in both
and they have the option of going for the base cap.
Right, exactly. So it still keeps the pressure on the base to have those T1s. Okay, one of them goes down as we speak. But nevertheless, it did allow them to actually spread out their forces, and right now they virtually have their opponents surrounded at this point.
They do.
So they just have to be careful. And look at that Vesuga already taking so much damage up there.
Yeah, honestly, right now, Anubis have nowhere to run. No matter where they go, they're just going to run into those front mission tanks. And front mission knows they have a really big advantage right now. They're just going to push in. Look at Vesuga taking so much damage right now, down to about 400 health. Same with Zelda Duck taking about 400 health right there. Baker Knight, all these members on Anubis Empire taking so much damage right now. They are not retaliating nearly enough to just stay in this right now. Although no tier 8s have gone down yet, it's only a matter of time before these front mission members just finish up. And there we go. The first tier 8 goes down. Panda Eye. Actually, the first tier 8 goes down on front mission side, but I'll still give an advantage to front mission.
Possibly, like in terms of hit points, it really there's a big difference. So if they don't mess this up too much, they should be able to pull in a fair trade. I think. I mean, if you look at that top 141 and Calantini,
Zelda back up to go down.
Exactly. It's just
Clope actually going to go down here.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Zelda Duck's going to go down, and so will Calentini as well, like most likely.
Anubis still have a tier 8 point advantage.
Oh, and look at that! No, actually,
Anubis
it's
tied up now, but
yeah,
oh my God, Anubis is gonna come back from this.
Vigornight's still probably going to go down. Oh no, actually, Top is reloading right now.
Yeah, no, Anubis they won this 100%.
Top was reloading.
And there we go.
It's kind of a shame though because you know.